I've tested out lots of portable monitors on this channel, and I use them all the time for my workflow, whether it's for hooking up to a computer that I'm working on, or just for simply gaming on something. They're extremely portable, they're easy to hook up, most of the times you can run them off of a battery, and they're just very convenient. The monitor that we're taking a look at today is twice as convenient as that, so let's check it out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from FamilyGeekery, and today we're going to be checking out this portable monitor, and this came to me from UPerfect, and UPerfect is one of the biggest names in portable monitors, and I've reviewed some stuff for them before, and I've been happy every single time. So when they reached out again and said, would you like to test this thing out? I took a quick look at the specs, and I said, yeah, absolutely, this thing looks pretty darn cool. So they sent it out, so thank you for that. Of course, as always, this review is mine. The company has no say in the content. The company doesn't get to see it before it's published, and no money has exchanged hands. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and open up this box and see what makes this portable monitor so intriguing. Now, you are about to find out why I am reviewing this portable monitor on my big workbench, which is usually reserved for, building computers and testing out really big stuff. And that's because this portable monitor is a big boy. So let me get the rest of this packaging off, get this big box out of the way, and we'll see what this thing looks like. So here it is. Here's the portable monitor we're looking at. And most portable monitors I've reviewed have been in the 15-16 inch range. I did one that was an 18.5. This one is 23.8. Now if you're saying this doesn't look like a monitor, that's because that's not. It's two monitors. Whoa, oh boy. Look at that thing. So large that I can't even get it on the camera right now. But two 23.8 screens, 1080p, 100 Hertz refresh rate. I'll go over all the connectors and all the different modes that it'll work in just a second. But yes, two basically 24-inch monitors. Now once I get everything hooked up, I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole thing. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features. I'm just going to rotate this thing around to the right first. So we've got this large kickstand basically that folds out, and it can fold I think all the way out to 180 degrees, so you can set this angle however you want. On this side right here we do have our connections. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Let me get a little extra light in there. But we've got over here two USB-C connectors, and that's going to be both for power, to power this thing up, and for signal, so we can have a USB-C cable feeding these monitors from your computer. And then we've also got a full-size HDMI over here, and I love that. As much as I love portable monitors, I hate having to remember where I put my, micro or mini HDMI adapters. So a full-size adapter for that HDMI port, that's awesome. Now to power this thing up, it did come with a 45-watt USB-C power delivery brick. Also came with, of course, an instruction booklet, and we've got all the cables that we need to hook this thing up. We've got one HDMI to HDMI, and then we've got two of the USB-C to USB-C cables. So one again to power the thing up, because it takes close to 45 watts, and then the other for signal coming from a computer. Now again, we're going to get this thing hooked up to a couple of different things to test out all these different configurations, because it's able to set up those two monitors in a couple different ways, so we'll test all that out. So let's go ahead and rotate this thing around 180 degrees and look what's on the other side. Now over here we've got a power button. We've got an up and down button right here for going through some menus. And then we got a link button. I'll explain what that means once we get it all set up. And then we've got the headphone jack. So all of our connections basically on one side, all of our controls on the other side. And in the back, we do have some VESA mounting holes. So if you don't want this to be standing on a table somewhere, you can have this mounted up on a monitor arm and have that full two monitors stacked set up, basically mounted on just one arm. And that's awesome. So let me go find a couple things to plug into this. We're going to get some video popping up on these screens, and we're going to test out all the rest of the features. Alright, so here's the first setup I'm going to test out, and basically we just got two cables plugged in here. One is a USB-C cable that's going to the power adapter, and one is a single USB-C cable that's going to a laptop. Now once I plugged it in, the display settings defaulted to mirroring, so I basically had the desktop on my laptop showing up on all three screens. So the laptop, this screen, and the upper screen. As soon as I changed this to extend, then it instantly identified it as being three separate screens. So number one is my laptop screen, and 2 and 3 are the stacked displays of this UPerfect Delta Mega, which is the name of it. And I've got the website pulled up here. I'll have all the links down below. UPerfect also gave me some really generous coupon codes, so go ahead and check those out also. But basically, 2 extended screens coming off of 1 USB-C cable, 1 power cable, and it was just that easy. Just change one setting in the display settings, drag these around because it assumed that it was 2 monitors on either side of the laptop. So I just drug number 3 over, hit apply, and boom, it's all set up. So if we look at the instruction manual, you'll see that we've got our different display modes here. And the first one was duplicate mode, and you can see that it shows A being on all 3 screens. And that was default. As soon as I change it to extend mode, it switched to this. Now this should really say A, B, and C, but it's just showing A, B, and B. But you can see it's working as expected. And there's one more mode that I can change on this that I'm going to test out right now with the same configuration. Again, this is just a Windows PC, in this case a laptop, hooked up on a single cable. So let me grab this button over on the right hand side here and press it. And what it just did was it changed to extend mode. Now in the process, it looks like it went ahead and went back to just the mirroring or duplicating. So let me change this real quick to extend. So now what we basically have is 2 monitors. One is the laptop itself, and number 2 here is a stacked display that shows up as a 1920 by 2160 display. And you can see that's just one seamless display. Now, of course, we got some bezel and hinges in here, but it's still really cool that you can have this thing set up as just one single display over here. So you can drag one big window into it, which is basically what I've done here. Let me get rid of the display settings. And this is just one big window that you can scroll through and have it stacked just instantly. So if you're doing page layouts, or if you're a coder that needs just a really long text sheet for your IDE, or if you're doing some video editing and you can kind of drag around the panes of your video editor to have your timeline and stuff down here and your preview screen up top, you can do some pretty nifty stuff with this. So let me go grab a couple more toys to hook up to this thing, and we'll see what other configurations we can get out of it. Alright, so now I'm using both the HDMI cable and the USB-C cable. So the USB-C cable is still going obviously to my laptop here. And then the HDMI cable is plugged into a Nintendo Switch right now. So I can do some gaming on the bottom screen here. I can do some work on the top screen. And let me just rattle out a couple use cases for this. So you could be doing work on your work screen here. You could have this with the game, or you could have this hooked up to something like an Apple TV or any other type of device. Play some Netflix on it, play some YouTube videos, and kind of get some work done and have something in the background. Now another thing you could do, obviously, I could have my game console, whether it's PS5, Xbox, Switch, whatever it is, hooked up on the bottom screen here, have my computer running OBS, and I can have my whole streaming setup right here on this stacked display. And of course you could even have 2 computers hooked up, one hooked up over HDMI, one hooked up over USB-C, and do some real-time multitasking. So incredibly versatile on how you can set this thing up and how you can use it. Really just your imagination on how to use it is your only limit. Now it does have built-in speakers, and of course it's got that headphone port also, but I've got it turned down because I don't know if this will give me a copyright strike for whatever background music they have on Zelda. Don't mess with Nintendo. But so far, everything I've plugged into it has just worked out great. When you're making and breaking connections over here or hooking up different things, it's going to sometimes black out, kind of figure out what's being plugged in, and then it'll pop right back up. But so far, I'm super impressed with this thing, and this is definitely going to become a part of my workflow. I've got another use case that I want to see if it'll work, so give me a second to get this set up, and I'll be right back. So I wasn't 100% sure this was really going to work, and it's not because of the monitor, it's just because of the software. I wasn't sure if the software would be smart enough to use this, but this right here is 2 pages of a comic book side by side on this ginormous monitor, and I've got this obviously placed on its side, and I can page through, and it just shows up perfectly. And this is just using the Kindle app. So this is a comic book that I purchased on Amazon, and it shows up in the Kindle app, and I just downloaded the Kindle app for PC. Now you can also do this if we go over to the web page here. This is just the web browser at the Amazon site, and it does the same thing. So it does have some of the distractions of Windows and, the tab bars up at the top. But if we go back to the Kindle app, kind of blacks everything out. We've got the, left and right arrows on the left and right, but I'm just using the left and right arrows on the computer itself. And this is like a dream come true if you read a lot of comics, especially if you have, and again, this is coming from Amazon, but this is more specifically coming from Comixology. It's basically their Netflix for comic books. And we picked up a free trial of this Comixology because we're covering some comics from it in our FamilyGeekery Podcast. So go ahead and check that out if you want. But yeah, this is just amazing. Super easy to set up, super easy to read, and it beats the heck out of reading these things on an iPad. Alright, let me show you one more neat feature before my laptop dies. And basically what we got here, I've got laptop screen as number 1, and I've mirrored 2 and 3 to be the same image. Now why would you want to do that? Because I can go ahead and take this screen on the top here and fold it back, and it will go all the way back 235 degrees, I believe it is. And I don't know if you saw the reflection in the background there, but what happened is this screen has now inverted, noticing that it has been tipped down. So if we take this, and let me get this out of the way, and if I rotate this around, you will see that it has flipped itself upside down and it's showing up correctly on this side. Now I would call this kind of like a client mode. Maybe you've got a business where maybe you're a lawyer and you've got a document that you're scrolling through on your screen and you're showing the person that's sitting on the other side of your desk what it is that they're signing. Or maybe you're a graphic artist and you're doing some mock-ups and changes to some graphics for someone, and they can sit on the other side of the desk and watch you do it real time. Instead of them coming around your desk, looking over your shoulder at your computer monitor and breathing down your neck. Just a neat way that you can have the same display on both sides, independent again of my laptop over here that has, a different screen up. And they make it super easy that it auto-recognizes the rotation. And then if we fold it back up again, and bring this back around, you can see that it flipped itself right side up again. So very cool feature, very handy depending on what type of work you do. And like I said, this thing is awesome. I'm impressed. When I told my daughter what it was that I was going to be reviewing, she called dibs on this thing. Now, I'm not going to give her this monitor, but I thought it was pretty cool that she called dibs right away because she had something in her mind that she knew that this would be perfect for. And I'm sure you can find a use case for it as well. I think that's going to wrap it up for this review. I hope you found something helpful. If you did, I appreciate a thumbs up. Go ahead and check out the links down below and check out the discount codes that I've got. Thank you again to UPerfect for sending this out for review. They have outdone themselves again. Now, if this setup here looks like it might be too large for you, they do make a double screen version in 15.6 inch also, and I believe 18.5. Yep, so whatever size works right for you, then UPerfect's got you covered. So go ahead and check out the rest of the channel. I've got more reviews on these types of screens and of course all kinds of geeky stuff. See if there's something there you might want to watch. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I thank you as always for watching, and until next time, peace out and geek out.